Let's talk sports. Did you stay up and watch the game last night? Indiana crowned national champs after defeating Miami. And what an incredible season for the Hoosiers. 16-0, undefeated. That game being played in Miami as we take a live look there from Hard Rock Stadium in South Beach. But wow, what a story for Indiana. Let's bring in Maria Martin joining us now from our sports team. Maria, they had the undefeated season. They had the Heisman-winning quarterback.
Yeah.
Where does this rank in greatest sports stories of all time?
It's up there. It's got to be up there. And we talked about the fact that I'm from South Florida. I'm actually really happy that Indiana won. I know that's going to surprise some Hurricanes fans, and they're going to tell me I'm disappointing. But I will say Indiana has the better story. Fernando Mendoza, how could you not love what he's done with college football? Not just him, but all of Indiana. But I'm focusing on him because his story's incredible. He's a Miami kid. He's from Miami, wanted to go to the University of Miami. They denied him a walk-on spot. And guess what he did? He handed them a loss on the biggest stage in college football. It's unbelievable. The story is incredible. I can't even imagine being in that position if I'm Fernando Mendoza. And now he's going to be the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft this year. I'm a Heisman voter, proud to be a Heisman voter. I voted for him, and I'm so happy that I did because I think the right quarterback won the national championship. He's been so much fun to watch. What a fun story.
It's going to be a movie one day. I mean, it writes itself.
It has to be. And you know what I will say about the University of Miami? I think college football is better when the U is back. If you are a diehard college football fan and you understand the history of the University of Miami, back in the 90s, they were the most fun team. Mm-hmm. They were very controversial, as we all know, but they were the most fun team to follow. And so I love that Miami is back, and I love how competitive the game was. It came down to the final drive. Obviously, Carson Beck throwing an interception to really end it.
Yeah.
But what a phenomenal scene down there in Miami. I am proud of South Florida. It looked beautiful.
It did, no doubt. All right, let's talk about the NFL coaching carousel. And we'll get into the nitty-gritty of Atlanta in a minute. But I'm just thinking more broadly. We're now looking at like 10 vacancies. Do you think this is the new normal after every season?
Gosh, I hope not, Dan, because I like to sleep. You know what I mean? No, but it feels that way, especially when you see Sean McDermott getting fired, right? You know, all of these coaches, especially in the AFC, it is unbelievable the turnover and just the amount of turmoil when it comes to the head coaching position. The pressure is there, unlike it ever has been. As long as you spend enough money on sports, it's going to continue to ramp up that pressure. And so I do think that it's going to be a little bit more chaotic than what we're used to. I think long gone are the days of coaches being around for a decade plus. It doesn't happen anymore. Mm-hmm. You're not competing for a Super Bowl when you're dominating the AFC East. Of course, I'm talking about the Bills specifically. The expectation is what's happening past that. And when you have a Josh Allen in their prime, you want to get somebody else in there to try to get him a Lombardi trophy. And honestly, the city of Buffalo, that poor fan base has been through so much. It pains me whenever I see what happens to the Buffalo Bills every year, and they had enough with Sean McDermott. He's going to make a great coach somewhere else, but this is the new normal, sadly. I say sadly because it's crazy how far college football in the NFL has gotten.
Yeah, you don't need to tell me about the pain of the Bills. I was watching it with my family. They're all from upstate.
Terrible, I know.
I mean, my dad watched, I think it was 4 straight Super Bowl losses.
Did he cry?
Yeah, he didn't cry, but
I wouldn't blame him if he did, honestly.
But I left the room.
Yeah,
I left the room
I believe
after
it.
overtime. Let's talk about Kevin Stefanski. I'm seeing some split opinions online.
Very split.
But ESPN gives it a B+. Yahoo Sports gives the hire an A. What are your initial thoughts on this hire?
I want Falcons fans to take a deep breath. That's what I want, because I understand that they're frustrated, and I totally get it. Not talking about the Kevin Stefanski hire. I'm just talking about the last 10 years in general for this fan base. It's been pretty tough. It's not Buffalo Bills tough, but it's hard. And I think whenever you have somebody, when you look at it on paper, who's only won 8 games in 2 seasons, which is Kevin Stefanski, you automatically hit the panic button. But until you peel back the layers and understand what happened in Cleveland, you might want to change your opinion a little bit. Cleveland is a terrible place to be a coach, okay? Look at the history of what's happened to the head coaches that have gone through there. Bill Belichick, debatably the best coach of all time, had a 44% win record in Cleveland, went on to do unbelievable things, obviously, in New England. So I think when you look back at that, and even Nick Saban, he was his defensive coordinator there in Cleveland, he talks about the days of Cleveland, and when you leave Cleveland, you have a lot of success. And so that's what the overarching mindset is in the NFL when it comes to Kevin Stefanski. A lot of people have thought, man, if Kevin could get out of Cleveland, he will be successful. Okay. And he has had to deal with a ton of stuff. And this is not me making excuses for what happened. 8 wins in 2 seasons is garbage. Everybody knows that, and you want more wins on the board, that's for sure. But when you have a change of scenery and you have a little bit more stability, talking about Kevin, because he had 13 quarterbacks during his 6 seasons in Cleveland, and an unbelievable amount of drama on top of that, It's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, too, not every decision that's ever been made in Cleveland was Kevin Stefanski making those at the helm of those decisions. I think that this will be a great situation for him. It's a lot more stability. Clearly, he has another quarterback conundrum, if you want to call it that, but it's nothing compared to what he dealt with in Cleveland. And so I think that this is very positive. I'm going to call it positive for the Falcons fan base, given also what other coaches are out there. And one more thing that I really want to point out that we haven't talked about a lot, the Falcons, remember you and I talked about timeline, right? Especially with John Harbaugh.
Right.
I feel like they were a little pressed with this because you have a coach with head coaching experience in that amount of time. You either go and get him because you know you want someone with experience. Matt Ryan's been high on Kevin Stefanski from the very beginning. If you don't hire him, what happens? Let's say you're waiting for Clint Kubiak, which a lot of Falcons fans wanted to see that happen. He can't get hired right now. Mm-hmm. He's still playing football. So let's say he goes to a Super Bowl and you're waiting for just one person, and what if he doesn't choose the Falcons? What if it doesn't work out? Then you're stuck with, I don't know what's going on. And so it's a high-risk, high-reward thing in that scenario, although I don't think Kevin Stefanski is a high risk
Right.
at
Okay.
all.
Good to hear. Titans fans kicking themselves right now because I think they're still looking for a coach, and they got rid of Mike Vrabel, and look at him now. Look what he's doing. It's just incredible. All right, so let's talk about Stefanski, keeping the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, but he's going a different direction with the offense.
Mm-hmm.
How should we be reading into that?
I think it's huge that they're keeping Jeff Ulbrich on the defensive side of the ball. And I remember a couple weeks ago when Arthur Blank had his press conference, he said it wasn't going to be a necessity for this new coaching staff, GM, head coach, all of that, to keep him, but we're going to make it a suggestion. And they should, because continuity is huge in football, and especially with a group that's so young. All of the pieces on the defensive side of the ball are at least your key pieces, they're young. They're just starting out in their career. And give those guys a lot of credit. The rookies, they showed out. And so if you have somebody that has continuity in the scheme, they can take that to even another level. So that evens itself out. That's good. You keep him, I think it's smart. On the offensive side of the ball, there needed to be a lot of change. And so he's still working on finalizing his staff. There's a lot of reports out there. The indications are that he's going to bring Tommy Reese over. He's very young. Him and I are the same age, actually. He's 33. He'll be 34 this year. He's a great offensive mind. A lot of people in the NFL believe that he'll be a head coach someday. He has familiarity, obviously, with him. He was there with him in Cleveland. He was an offensive coordinator at Alabama for you SEC fans that don't really care about anything else. He was with Nick Saban, so he's learned from the best. Bring him over. And then Bill Callahan, who is one of the most well-respected offensive line coaches in the NFL. He was a head coach a very long time ago, but he's been in the NFL since 1995. The dude has unbelievable experience. And it is unfortunate in that regard because Dwayne Ledford has been such a staple here, the offensive line coach for the Falcons, and this O-line loves Ledford. He is truly one of the best. If, in fact, he is leaving Atlanta, I'm going to miss him terribly. He's been phenomenal with that offensive line. But a lot of the times with these head coaches, it's just who you know and who you want to be a part of your staff. I think changes were necessary on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's really going to help just kind of re-energize what they're already trying to do.
All right, college football's over. Just a few games left in the NFL. We got a coach for the Falcons. The Masters 76 days away.
Oh, okay. We can count down to that. That's good.
So what are you doing between now and then? I mean, is this kind of a lull?
No. What's a lull, Dan, in sports? You've been here. You know what's going on in Atlanta sports.
Yeah.
No, we have spring training, obviously, in February, which is great. Everybody looks forward to that. The beginning of baseball season is always just such a fun time, and there's so much hope because there is no baseball that's been played yet. So everyone's in a good mood. It's great. No, I think the Braves will have a very good season, and there's a lot of drama happening in baseball right now. We could talk about this tomorrow if you want. There's a pending lockout happening in 2027.
Okay.
So that's the thought around baseball, is that a lockout is coming. So if you're a baseball fan, enjoy this season because I'm scared it's going to take a pause next year, which is terrible.
Braves fans, did you hear that? Enjoy it while it lasts. Maria, thank you so much.
You bet.
Yeah, let's have you on to talk about baseball soon.
Any day.
Okay.